All right, so in this video, I'm going to go over everything that I covered in class today. So I'm going to talk about cutting out an object and copying and pasting objects and things like that. So right now I have a bunch of different layers. I have my house layer, which is my background. I have my car, which I brought in, and I began to cut out parts of the car. I also put a filter on it. I made it look like an oil painting. I do need to finish cutting out the rest of this car. So what I'm going to do is turn my house off, and I'm going to keep my car on. And I'm using, you have a bunch of different selection tools, right? You have your marquee tools, you have your lasso tools, you have your wand tool. I'm going to use my magnetic lasso tool. I think it's a great tool, especially for beginners. If you know something else that you would prefer using, use it. Wherever you start, you must end, and you must kind of go slow. What the magnetic lasso tool does is it magnetically attaches itself to like colors. So if for some reason the magnetic tool goes a little bit off track, what you can do is create your own points. So see how I've got these line segments, and then I have points that I'm not actually making. It's making it for me. They're like anchor points that are anchoring this line down into place. But I can also click on my mouse, like I just created that one myself. Some of these other ones, I'm not creating those. But when I click here, look, I made that myself. So I can actually anchor down the line myself if I needed to. But you need to go slowly, or else this line sometimes could be a little unstable and it will go off its track a little bit. So if you really want to make sure that you're cutting out the shape perfectly, run it along the side of it perfectly. Now I want to select I don't want to select the car, I want to select all of this extra that's underneath here. So wherever you start, you must end. So notice I just circled around it, and I was able to get most of it in there. I kind of missed a little bit over here. And hit delete, and it deleted that background for me, right? Command or Control D will deselect. So if I wanted to deselect the selection that's around my car, doing Command or Control D will get rid of it completely. I can also use my eraser right here to erase away at any extra little pieces I have. So I would maybe go back into this and really clean up using my eraser or something, the edge of this whole piece here, right? It doesn't look real. I want to make sure it looks like accurate and real. So I might go in eventually at some point and kind of make the wheel rounder, right? And soften some of this up, because right now it looks like flat tires. So now I have my car with my background. The next thing I showed you was just my filter. So you can put underneath filter, you have your filter gallery, and you can't see this. But you also have other options here. So I'm going to go to Stylize, and I'm going to just choose oil paint. That's what I chose before, and it just shows me what it's going to look like. I can preview it, right? I can change how much of the stylization I want and everything, and I'm going to hit OK. So I kind of changed up that picture, made it look more like a painting. Now I also said, let's say that I wanted to make it look like these wheels were moving, right? So they need to be a separate layer as well. So making sure I'm selecting the car, I'm going to go in using my magnetic lasso tool, and I'm going to select each hubcap one at a time. So I'm doing the hubcap because I feel like the wheel, I mean, I could do the whole wheel, but I feel like if I just animate the hubcap, it's going to look like it's spinning the whole wheel. Now I'm going to copy. Copy would be Command or Control C, and paste would be Command or Control V. You'll notice that I placed a copy of the hubcap I selected into my layer bar. I double clicked on it, and I'm going to name this left wheel. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same to the other hubcap. Now if I want to select the other hubcap, I want to make sure I'm on the right layer. Right now I'm selecting the left wheel. I want to make sure I'm on the layer of the object I'm selecting. So I want to make sure I'm on my car layer. So now when I go to select this hubcap, if I tried doing this in the other layer, it wouldn't work because the hubcap, this hubcap is in the car layer, right? And then I can do Command C and Command V, and it pasted the other hubcap. So I'm going to call this right wheel. So I'm going to leave my car flying because it's just an element of my animation. In my animation, I want to make sure it looks like it's riding along the road, but in here, it's fine that it's placed where it is. The next thing I want to do is make it look like my garage door is opening. This is a little bit more complex, I guess, because aspects of this I would do in animation in Adobe Animate, but I had 3 parts to it. Now, this might turn into a button or something that I would do in Animate, but it also could be something that's moving. So in order to make it look like this is moving, it's more about adding shapes and breaking shapes apart to make it look like it's moving up and down, right? So this is my shape toolbar, right? So I've got all these different shapes that I can choose from. So let's say this is my garage. I'm changing the color of my shape up here. So you notice I have stroke and fill. Stroke is to outline something. Fill is to fill it in with a color. So I'm filling it in with black. And you notice that it came up with this rectangle 1, right? That's that shape here. That will happen with any shape that you create from this tool. I can click on it and write open garage. All right, so it doesn't have to stay as rectangle 1. I could change it to open garage. Now, in a way, I want this garage to kind of look like it's, I got to work backwards here, like opening and closing, right? So in order to do this, right, that's why it might be easier to do this in Animate, but I'll show you. This would be open garage, right? I can create another shape, or I can do duplicate. So under layer, you can definitely duplicate layers. I don't know why it's not letting me duplicate this. Oh, hold on. So I'm going to do duplicate layer, and I'm going to name it garage half open, right? So now I have I'm going to turn this open garage off, and I have garage half open, and I'm going to do Command T to transform, and I'm just going to make it half open, like that, right? So now in my animation, if I were going to show this in an animation, it's going to be doing this, right? So it's going to look like it's opening and it's closing that garage door. But like I said, it might be a button. So maybe when you look at the house, it looks like this. When you hover over it, it looks like this. And then when you click on it, it opens up, right? And then maybe something comes out. I don't know. But these are just different options that you have. You can also create many different layers of moving parts. So if any of you have questions, let me know. And that's it.